Our lesson is going to be a lesson that I wish I had when I first started trading. And the lesson that I wish I had was, how do we find the best spiker every single day? How do we find the top gainer every day? It seems like as a new trader, you find the stock that has gone on a 100 and 200% spike after it already happened. And you just say to yourself, how did we get in first? How can we find the play before it goes on that big rip and run? How can I find the play before the day even opens? Because I know a lot of times when you're new in the stock market, you can find the play, GameStop, AMC, the top gainer on the day, after it already went on a 50%, 100%, 200% climb. And obviously buying at those tops is always going to be extremely risky. So is there a way that we can be prepared every single day to be able to make the most money possible by getting into the play before everyone else? Let's go over this strategy and let's go over my morning routine so you guys know exactly what I do every day when I wake up. Now, for this, you guys are going to need a few different things if you want my exact morning routine. First things first is I do use Trade Idea scanners, and all my Trade Idea scanners are custom coded. If you guys want the same codes we do have them available on tradecaster.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the scanner page, and we do have all of our codes right there where you guys can have the same exact clouds that I have. So kicking off my day every single morning, I always jump in and I look at my pre-market scanners. So my pre-market scanners essentially are going to give me a great starting point. And I have two different pre-market scanners from two different companies. As I already stated, I do have Trade Ideas and I do have Scans News Streamer. The Scans News Streamer is going to show me news right when the market opens on up or right when this news comes out. And our pre-market scanners are going to show us what's already gapping up. So every single morning, I wake up at the time of 6:45. 6:45, the reason why is just so I can get all woken up, shower, brush my teeth, do everything like that before 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, I want to be sitting right here. I want to be sitting in the seat and I want to be ready to rock and roll. And at 7 o'clock, I will see what stocks are already gapping on up. Now, if we take a look at this list right here, let me just turn off, these crosshairs. We can see, looking at this list, PIXY is having a nice gap up this morning. You could see the stock, had a nice gap up in pre-market. The stock was the number one top gainer with a 50% gap up. We could see NEW had a nice little gap up before the stock went on this very nice spike and rip and run. We could see ISIG also was a stock that was moving on up. Pre-market is basically broken down over on Trade Ideas in this orange tab, in this orange shaded area. That's where, again, we can see where pre-market is at. So the first thing that I do every single day when I wake up is I look at my Trade Idea scanners and I see what stocks are gapping up. I see if PIXY is gapping up. Is there news? Is there credibility? Is there a reason on why this would continue? NEW gapping on up, now going on a nice spike. ISIG gapping up. So it already gives me a great starting point. So I say to myself, all right, ISIG, this stock right here, this one's starting to spike. Why is that? Oh yeah, yesterday ISIG was the top gainer on the day. Every single trader was looking at ISIG. This was the play that most traders were at. Could easily steal the show once again. Okay, well, let's keep moving on through. Well, Deck, what about NEW, the number 2 top gainer in the stock market? NEW started spiking in pre-market, then spiked right at the start of the day. Why did this happen? Well, if I saw this at 7 o'clock in the morning having a little bit of a gap up, I would know that NEW came out with a press release 7 hours ago at 4:30 in the morning. Stock had a gap up. It had an earnings report that showed that there was a 12% return, an increase of 12%, and that's a positive press release. So the first thing I do when I wake up every single morning, I sit down on my chair right around 6:55 before 7 o'clock is I look to see what stocks are gapping up. And if I see that we have PIXY gapping up, NEW gapping up, ISIG gapping up, I want to see if there's a credible reason why. Because the thing is, team, most brokers don't even open up till around 7 o'clock. Now, as I've stated before in the past, you need to think about the stock market as a buffet, right? It's a first come, first served basis. Imagine if there's 1,000 or 1,000,000 people that want to eat, and there's a buffet, which is all you can eat, but they run out. They run out of food eventually. And what do we mean by this is if you're there early, you can eat as much as you want. But if you show up at 9:30, if you show up at 10 o'clock, if you show up at 12 o'clock, the stock may have already spiked all the way up towards its top already. And if it's already spiked all the way to the top, there's no food left. There's no money to be made left on these plays. So I like waking up as early as possible so I'm beating the mob. The mob is the majority of buyers. I'm beating the majority of people to the punch. If I see that ISIG right here, I could jump in on this play right when this day opens on up, or again at 7 o'clock in the morning. Imagine I jumped in on ISIG at 7 o'clock in the morning at $18. Or imagine I jumped in on this play, when it started spiking a little bit at $20 before it spiked all the way up towards around this $29 mark, right? We want to get out of the habit of waiting for a stock to spike up to $30 before jumping in on it. We want to start getting into the habit of making money down here and getting in and not chasing the top. Because the number one reason why traders lose is they focus too much on what? Their visual. They wait for visual confirmation to feel confident, which is the worst thing to do. We have to see these plays moving up in pre-market and know, hey, we're ahead of the mob. Most people are still sleeping. Most people are still being lazy. ISIG, previous number one top gainer of the day, this one could easily get volume. We need to start buying down here, knowing that buyers are going to wake up and push it on up. Not be scared and say to ourselves, hey, let's wait for the top, buy up at $29 just to get crushed. We need to get out of that habit. Same exact thing with NEW today. NEW, the moment we start seeing the stock spike on up above 40 cents, we have to say to ourselves, we are above and we are before every single person. We are, again, not the people that are chasing plays. It's only, again, 8 in the morning. We want to know, and we should know, that the majority of people are still sleeping, and when the stock opens, it's going to go on that nice spike and rip and run. So I will tell you, the first step I take every single morning on finding the best top gainer every single day is looking at what stocks are gapping up in pre-market at 7 o'clock in the morning. That is going to be one of the first steps to take. Now, if you guys are saying, Deck, I can't afford those scanners. I can't afford trade ideas. Well, the beautiful thing, if you guys are on tradecaster.com, I live stream them for you guys right here every single day. Every single day, I'm live streaming this. So just by being part of our community, you guys have level 2. You guys have charts and graphing. You guys have top of the line scanners. You guys have absolutely everything right here, part of Tradecaster. So you don't even have to worry about the extra expense whatsoever. From there, we know that news always comes out at 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I'm always watching my news streamer in these 30-minute increments. Right when I wake up at 6:45, I'll again get in front of my news streamer, and I know right when the time says 7 o'clock, there's going to be a few press releases. 7 o'clock, is this good? 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 If one of these press releases have a hot keyword, a low float, something that I really enjoy, well, guess what? I'm jumping in on it right away. Sometimes people wake up, they see a hot press release, but because it hasn't spiked yet, they feel like it's not a good press release. If you are studying press releases, and we can have press release lessons down the road, if you know how to read a press release and you know what to look for in a press release, be willing to jump in. If a press release comes out at 7 o'clock or comes out at 7:30 or comes out at 8 o'clock in the morning and you like it, you are most likely one of the first people in on the plays. You are probably in the top 10%, top 5% of people out in the entire stock market who are seeing this press release. Be willing to jump in, because if you jump in, you're going to be able to make the most money. Some of my biggest trades have been from noticing a press release at 8 o'clock and being willing to get in at 8:01. My most recent one where I did that was, I believe it was GRTX. GRTX, I was able to make $15,000 within the matter of 10 minutes. A press release came out when the stock had a very big gap up. Stock went from around 140, spiked all the way up, and actually spiked all the way up in pre-market towards around $4. I made $15,000 in the matter of 10 minutes when the press release came out at 7 o'clock in the morning. Came out at 7 o'clock, jumped in on this play. Stock went on a huge rip later on as more traders woke up, and I was able to make a huge profit at the very bottom of the stock before it went on that rip and run. So that is an absolute amazing and beautiful thing to do, to be able to be awake, see these press releases, and know, hey, I'm awake and I'm before the entire mob. I'm before the entire trader. So this is the process. We already went over, we wake up, and we take a look over on the gap up plays. What I also like to look at every single day is I go to www.finviz.com, and I always look at the previous top gainers. Previous top gainers have a great chance of going on great rips and runs. Now, FinViz is going to show us all the top gainers currently today. But when you guys look at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, they're going to show you all the top gainers of yesterday. And on this list were stocks such as ISIG. You can see a lot of times, team, previous top gainers usually turn into multi-day spikers, where maybe again ISIG had a nice gap up. The stock went from $16, spiked up towards $23. Today it went from $24, spiked up to $30. You should always have on your list previous spikers, because previous spikers can easily have continuation. You want to see a great example? Take a look over on HX. HX, top gainer, top gainer, top gainer, massive top gainer before the stock started dropping on off. You can see a lot of these plays. LGVN, top gainer, pullback, top gainer. You know, a lot of times when a stock has a huge spike and a huge supernova, you should always keep it on your watch list, as there's a great chance it's going to be able to continue to move on up throughout time. You know, we go back over to ISIG. ISIG was a top gainer. Next day, top gainer. Every single day, you guys should write down the list of the top gainers so you guys know what to be looking for right out of the gates. So the greatest thing is right now, you guys may have not even noticed, but now we are at 7:05 in the morning, 7:05 a.m. We already have a list of the stocks that are gapping up the biggest from news already, and we have a list of the previous day top gainers. These are, again, the stocks that we want to be focused on right away. And we already have probably a list of about 5-6 plays. Okay, great. What else can we do? I want you guys going over to www.marketwatch.com/tools/screener/short interest. Okay? So that's right here. You can see the link right at the top so you guys have that. But this is going to be a list I check every single day as well, just to stay familiar with certain plays. These are all plays that are the most shorted stocks in the stock market. That means they have the best chance of going on a huge breakout. You ever hear the term of short squeeze? If you don't know, that's why GameStop went crazy. That's why AMC went crazy. Those are stocks that were heavily shorted and everyone bought them, which led to a huge spike, rip, and run. And if you check out this site, you can see ISIG has been running so well, it's the number 2 most shorted stock in the stock market. LGVN, RELI. Notice these plays, and if we actually take a look over on the chart over the past few days, these have actually been pretty big spikers. RELI went on a big spike yesterday, 2 days ago. We can take a look over on LGVN, try to go on a big spike yesterday. The stocks that are usually some of the most heavily shorted plays, guys, are going to be plays that could easily go on rips and runs, especially if there are no hot press releases on that day. Traders are always going to try to push up plays. You always want to make sure you're familiar with that list. So now let's say it's 7:30 in the morning. Right? At 7 o'clock, we already went over. We wake up, we look at our gap up plays. We see why they're gapping up. Is there a press release on them? Is there some sort of reason on why these stocks are gapping up? We go ahead and we look at the previous top gainers. Are those gapping up? Do those have any sort of chance of going on a big rip, big run, big spike? Then, of course, at every 30-minute increment, we are always looking at our time. 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30. Once 8 o'clock comes on up, I'm watching the news streamer. Watching the news streamer, is there any hot press releases? Is there any low float stocks, any stocks that are coming out with any sort of big news? If I see something right away at 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'm jumping in on these plays. So I'm going to be the first ones in on them. So we would also, if there's a great press release that slides by, it's going to get picked up on our pre-market scanners as well. But let's give you some free little websites right here, team. Some free websites that you guys can also use on your end, even if you guys can't even see the scanners for some reason or another. And again, if you guys are on TradeCaster, you guys have all this equipment for you. Now, a great website that you guys can do is head on over to swaggystocks.com. Head on over to swaggystocks.com, go to Wall Street Bets, and go to Ticker Sentiment. Now, these are going to be the stocks that are the most talked about on Reddit. Reddit group is basically a free website that a lot of people go on to talk about stocks. And these are going to be the most popular websites, popular stocks over on Reddit. Now you can see there's not much action at this moment. And the reason why there's not much action is because right now it's December 29th. We're coming down to the end of the year, and there's not many big rips, big runs, big spikes, kind of big hype at this moment. All the big hype will start as we go into 2022. Most likely when you guys are watching this. So right now, Tesla definitely has the most attention over on Reddit, as Tesla has been a pretty hot stock over the last few days. Take a look over on Tesla, and we can see the last few days over on Tesla have been strong green candle, strong green candle, strong green candle, strong green candle. There has been a lot of attention over on Tesla. The way I always think about stocks is, if you buy a stock, it slightly moves up. If 10 of you guys buy stocks, it moves up a little bit higher. If 100 people buy a stock, it moves up even higher. If 1,000 people buy a stock, it moves up even higher. The more stock attention has towards it, the more people talking about the play, the better chance there is of people buying that play. The better chance of people buying that play, the better chance that stock has of going on a great spike. So I always like to see what stock are people talking about. Now, sometimes, again, they're bigger plays such as Tesla, but sometimes you do get penny stocks on this list as well. Another great website that you guys want to be looking at, not only this, such as Swaggy Stocks, is there's going to be a website, let me grab it, called stockquaint.com. And this is going to give you a nice little update. This is going to show you not only what we just talked about with Reddit, but this is also going to show you Twitter. What stocks have been tweeted the most over the last 24 hours? And you could see ISIG. So ISIG, this stock has been tweeted a lot over the last 24 hours. This stock has a great chance of going on a great spike. If we take a look at ISIG this morning, guess what happened? ISIG did go on a great spike because a lot of people are tweeting about it, which brings a lot of exposure to that play, which means it's going to go on a great rip and run. Okay, cool. What else do we have here? What about PIXY? A lot of people are, again, tweeting about PIXY right now. So let's check out PIXY, see what that play's doing. All right, PIXY. Okay, yeah, PIXY. This play went from, again, 80 cents all the way up to $2. Very big gap up. More people talking about it, the more exposure it has. Let's check out CPOP. Let's see what CPOP has done. CPOP. Yeah, this stock has gone from 170 all the way up to 322. So another little free website, another little cheat sheet for you guys so that you guys are all good, and that's stockquaint.com. So these are all ways that I'm able to figure out at the start of the day, what are people looking at? What are people focused on? What are people, again, aware of right here? Because in stock trading, when you guys sit down at your seat from now on, the question you guys ask yourself is not, what am I going to trade today? The question you ask yourself is, what is everyone else going to trade today? Does everyone else like the press release I like? Does everyone else like the stock that's gapping up? Does everyone, again, like the play that is obviously the most talked about? If a play is being talked about, there's a great chance it has of spiking. So every single morning when I wake up, we go to pre-market scanner, see what's gapping up, see if there's a press release behind it. If there's no press release behind it, we just kind of see if there's going to be any sort of volume. Then I always look at fitviz.com, see what are the top gainers on the day to see if they have gap ups and a chance of continuation. Throughout this period, every 30 minutes, I'm watching the news streamer, watching every 30 minutes to see if there's going to be brand new news coming on out. Throughout, again, my morning, I'm continuing to watch the gap up scanner, see if anything changes. I'm also, again, looking over on these free websites. I'm looking over on Swaggy Stocks. I'm looking at StockQuaint, and I'm also looking at Market Watch to see which stocks are the most heavily shorted. These are the secrets nobody tells you. These are the secrets that, again, full-time day traders want everyone to be hush-hush about. But I want to tell you here, and this is, again, just for everyone who's willing to listen. If you're willing to listen, I will tell you guys everything that you need to know about how to find these top gainers. If you guys are willing to listen, if you're willing to be here, I will teach you everything that you need to know on how to find the best spikes every single day. So use this information, get ahead of the game, beat the mob, get ready to crush it, and enjoy those profits. Awesome job and awesome work as always. I can't wait to see your gains over in the market. All right. So, woo, baby.